Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Cooking with Me. You're welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. I am Nupur and today we will be talking about two things. One will be to make mung bean sprouts because it'll absolutely enhance the protein content and enhance the nutritional value of your food that you have sitting in your pantry and you didn't even know that it was a powerhouse of nutrients. So we're going to learn how to make mung bean sprouts at home, and the second recipe that we're going to do today is really quick. It's going to be a carrot pickle that we're going to preserve in an Indian style and create our own very own probiotic at home using root vegetables. And the one that I'm choosing today is carrots, right? So without any further ado, let's get started. For the mung beans, what we have to do is take these green mung beans. They're available in any supermarket very easily or online, wherever you can find them. Wash them a few times and then soak them for about 6 to 8 hours. Now, if you actually cook these like lentils, then you've probably seen them looking like this once you've cooked them. When I cooked it, I added salt and turmeric and some cumin seeds and ginger, and I used the bean setting on my Instapot. How I'm going to finish cooking this is I'm going to add a tempering of onion, tomato, ginger, garlic, cumin, and some spices, and I'm going to boil them together so it'll have a nice flavor and it'll almost have the texture of lentil soup. So that's how it looks when it's cooked and boiled. But when you have to make sprouts, you soak them for about 6 to 8 hours, and then the next morning wash off all the water. Find yourself a container that looks like this. Trust me, I've tried many fancy containers and mason jars and it never worked. But once I went to the simplest thing, and that was through a mentor that was coaching me on some other food related stuff, and her name is Chaitanya. Oh my God, what perfect timing! And she just tuned in. Hi, Chaitanya. I'm sharing your sprouting technique. So basically, just find a good old basic old box. No fancy schmancy stuff needed here. Drain out all the water after 6 to 8 hours of soaking. Put the lid. It doesn't have to be an overcrowded thing, but it shouldn't be too sparse either. Just make sure that all the moisture, all the water is drained out. Stick them in this box, close it, and put it in a warm place, like the bottom shelf of your oven at home or something, right? And that would be perfect. On the second day, you'll start seeing that the grains are fluffed up and you'll see the roots coming out a little bit. So you will actually be able to harvest them and eat them pretty much on the third or fourth day. I think the fourth day is really perfect. You can use them in your smoothies. You can make them into a batter and make crepes out of it. And you can also use them in stir fries and chops. So that's all about sprouts. I will actually sprout them tomorrow morning. And so when I have the sprouts ready from the third or the fourth day from today, I will actually do another live and I will show you an application of how we actually use these sprouts. Okay, so don't forget, I come on online every day at noon, and we're doing some very easy homesteading recipes nowadays. Jumping to the next one, the next recipe that we're going to do involves, ta-da, yes, preserving and adding probiotic value to food has been an age-old technique, and now that we're all spending a lot of time at home lately, we're also trying to find ways to preserve foods that we can use later on. So here I have about 2 carrots, and what I've done is I've washed them and dried them. If you can air dry them a few days before pickling it, that would be great. If you can't, it's totally fine. I mean, we don't get that kind of sun depending on wherever you live. But if you can air dry them or sun dry them for a day so that they're completely bone dry, that would be really nice. All right, so now to this, we are going to add some basic ingredients that we need for this pickling are, I've created a spice mix, and basically what it contains is a lot of mustard seeds. I'll show you what it looks like before being ground. There you go. So it has mustard seeds, it has yellow mustard, it has black mustard seeds, it has nigella seeds, cumin seeds, fennel seeds, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, so this actually comes in a premix, but if you don't have any of this, just use yellow or black mustard seeds and pound them in your coffee grinder. That's the thing that gives the tartness and the sharpness or the sourness to your pickle. Okay, we are also going to use good old salt. Now whenever you make any kind of pickle or preserve any food or use it in brining Always use either sea salt or Himalayan pink salt. Do not use the chemically processed salt that is available in the market. We will also be using 2 tablespoons of mustard oil. I've taken it in a bowl and I've heated it up and then I've allowed it to cool. This is about 2 to 3 tablespoons. That's all we need. We don't need to make it a very oily pickle. I think the biggest complaint with Indian pickles is that they tend to be very oily. So we're not going to make that mistake. And also to enhance the shelf life and preserve it further, we are going to use 2 tablespoons of good old vinegar. If you don't have vinegar, you can also use fresh lemon juice for this. I'm also going to use a few beets because I just like the color of it. You can use fresh carrots, beets, and you can use fresh ginger juliennes. Some people also like to use fresh turmeric roots in their pickle depending on what season you're in. Okay, so very simply, you're going to take a bowl. You take your washed dried carrots. And I'm making a really small quantity, but as you get more and more confident, you can definitely make more. Okay, to this we are going to add first our sea salt to taste. And also remember that if it's a little bit extra salt, that's fine. There's no harm in that because it basically helps to enhance, increase the shelf life and add longevity to your preserved food. We'll also add turmeric. If you're using raw turmeric, you still should use powdered turmeric because raw turmeric root does not even give that much color in the pickle. I'm using paprika, but if you like red hot cayenne pepper, or if you like green chili peppers, you can also put that in here. I'm going to add my beets. I've literally just cut them into, I had a very tiny one, so I was able to cut it into little matchstick sizes. I'm going to add all of this pickling spice blend. And then I'm going to add the mustard oil. Remember, this has to be heated to a smoking point and then you have to allow it to cool. Do not add hot oil to your vegetables for pickling. And I'm going to go in with my hands and give it a good massage. A really good massage. Yeah. So this is really good for your gut, especially if you're eating lentils and rice with yogurt. Whenever you combine homemade yogurt with any kind of a homemade pickle, it takes care of your prebiotics and probiotics, and it's really, really good for your immunity and health. Do not rely on store-bought pickles because they have a lot of preservatives and unnecessary salt to enhance the taste. You really do not need that. This is like the simplest thing that you can do, and I guarantee you this is so fresh and it tastes so good. You can make it in absolutely no time at all. Okay, so this is a great, I think it needs a little more salt. Some people also like to add a little bit of a hint of sugar, and you can if you want to. I'm not crazy about it because I feel like carrots and beets are both pretty sweet. See how much goodness is there? Yeah. All right. The next thing that you need in order to take care of this is get a jar, wash it, sterilize it, boil it, whatever you need to do. And then put all of this into a clean jar. I remember as a kid when my grandmother would make these, I'd be very fascinated because I didn't know why she was doing it. I always loved to eat them, but I just didn't know why we had to make it at home if everything was available in the market. But of course, when I was growing up, there was not that many store-bought varieties of pickles and chutneys. Everything was just homemade. People were even making poppadoms at home, you know. But I had a working mom, an urban mom. So my grandmother would make all these things. Those were some good times. Just gonna really clean this out because that's where all the good spices and seasonings are. Make sure you give it a good clean out. Yeah. Alrighty. So once that's done, the final step is to add the vinegar to it. And believe it or not, even if your jar is full up to here, once it settles down, you'll see like in the next half hour, the carrots are going to release a lot of moisture and they'll start to settle down. Just give it a good shake. And see, that's what it looks like. I'm sorry for the glare that's coming. You're probably not able to see it too well. But yeah, this is what it looks like. It's really well coated. And what you can do is, a few times in the day, just give it a good shake so everything is homogenized. And if you live in a place where you get good sunlight, maybe put it in the sun every day for about half an hour to an hour. And this should be really tangy, and the probiotic culture would have been enhanced by the third day. You don't need to add any liquid because the carrots will release liquids, and you'll be able to see the liquid gather at the bottom. You can see already it's releasing a lot of moisture. I don't know if you can see it. See that? So yeah, this is how you're going to preserve your carrots, and you can eat these pickles. This lasts in the fridge for about 2 to 3 weeks. If you want it to have a better life, then you can always use more mustard oil and top it to cover the carrots so that they're completely immersed in the oil. That is the other way to preserve it. I don't really like it very oily, but this totally works because the vinegar also adds to the shelf life of it. So if you didn't do anything and just kept it like this should last you about 2 weeks in the fridge. If there are any other recipes that you would like to see, or anything else that you would want to learn from items that are actually in the pantry, do feel free to leave me a message. I really appreciate your love and support, and thank you all for always coming out and watching these FB lives with me. It really means a lot. My only prayer for you is be safe, be healthy, be vibrant, eat healthy, wholesome, homemade food, and live a flavorful life. Thank you again for joining me. Namaste, and God bless you.